Now get all the racing information you need right on your mobile device with Capital OTB's new mobile app. Wager anytime, anywhere, right from your smartphone or tablet. Watch, wager, and win right at your fingertips. The new Capital OTB mobile app. Not at the track and not near a computer? No problem. Wager with Capital OTB's Touch-Tone Wagering System and you'll never get shut out again. Capital OTB's Touch-Tone Wagering System is quick, simple to use, and guarantees your wagers are accurate and placed on time. For more information, visit CapitalOTB.com or call Capital OTB's customer service hotline at 800-292-BETS. Capital OTB's Touch-Tone Wagering System. Never get shut out again.
Hey race fans, head down to the all-new Clubhouse Racebook. With live horse racing on more than 250 flat-screen TVs, state-of-the-art wagering terminals, and amazing Vegas-style atmosphere. The Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany.
This is the OTB Television Network, a service of Capital District Off-Track Betting.
Broadcasting live from the Capital OTB studios, this is Racing Across America with Seth Merrow.
Good morning and welcome to Racing Across America on this Wednesday morning as we kick off another week. I'm Seth Merrow. Thanks for joining us. Coming up in a few minutes, we'll be joined by Jeremy Plonk, HorsePlayerNow.com, Night School, and more. I thought this morning with Jeremy, normally we'll focus on some 3-year-old races, or if there aren't a lot of those, we'll go in another direction. And I thought the direction we'd go this morning, although there was a 3-year-old race kind of note at Aqueduct, but we won't look at that today. Maybe during the rest of the week we'll pull up a replay. Because Stick Stately Dude won the Discovery at Aqueduct the other morning, and I'll say maybe we'll pull it up because there was an article in the Racing Forum. Think of Pegasus with that horse. He's a horse out there, a late season, maybe developing 3-year-old, and if folks have put up their $1 million and don't have a horse yet for the starting gate of the Pegasus, the folks related to Stick Stately Dude thought, well, maybe they want to tilt in this direction. So that was an intriguing 3-year-old race as is playing out over the weekend, but otherwise it wasn't too much. So I thought today with Jeremy, we kind of focus on 2-year-olds. Maybe they're a little bit under the radar at this point. Obviously, we know the 2-year-olds coming out of the Breeders' Cup. Certainly, there was that Ding Dong Champagne with Cindergarden, Practical Joke, Classic Empire, and not this time, obviously, out of the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. There are some 2-year-olds that have caught our attention, but then there are some that maybe not so much so, and I thought we'd get Jeremy to talk a little bit about those as he approaches, maybe a month and a half away from the first countdown to the Crown package at HorsePlayerNow.com. A little bit after that, we'll be joined by Don Stevens from Delta Downs this Saturday. Speaking of 2-year-olds, it's the Delta Jackpot, $1 million for 2-year-olds. Nice card supporting as well, the Delta Princess, the Delta Mile, some other stakes action. We'll get some preview of the weekend stakes down at Delta Downs from Don Stevens. Past performances are already up. They're up on the weekend. They're getting an early start there, so you can get a look at that Saturday card from Delta Downs if you go to your past performance provider. All right, top of the show on a Wednesday morning means a visit from our friend Shannon Donovan here at OTB, the marketing department. Good morning, Shannon.
Good morning, Seth. How are you today?
Very good. Happy to have you on board to hit up some of the promos and events coming up. First, we'll touch on, it's been a nice 2 weeks for folks who hopped onto the bankroll teams. Breeders' Cup week, of course, Dick Powell turns his $4,000 Breeders' Cup bankroll into $11,000. And last Friday, our friend Brian Edo was in here with a happy hour bankroll. He upped his $500 as well.
We've been on a roll. And don't let get yourself short, because you finished Vernon Downs with the bankroll we had on Thursdays. You finished strong with that as well.
I was happy with that result.
We're about 4 for 4. We're a good streak here, and Brian had a nice day this past Friday.
Yeah, and kicked the 5 up to 7, right?
Up to 7.
Nice 40% return.
25 patrons. They each got $28.
Nice.
And from what I was told, I wasn't here for the event, but I guess he gave out some really good information throughout the afternoon, and some other people were playing off of his tickets. So I think it was a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, he's a trip guy, and he usually during the course of an afternoon like this, he'll toss out at least a couple that he's picked up on. And I know I was in here for the first hour or so, and he was all around some things, and I took off, and I was kind of sitting in my apartment watching online and following the Twitter feed, and he hit a couple of really nice tries. And got, it's hard to say whether you're unlucky or lucky in a dead heat, but there was one where he dead heated, and if he'd gotten the bob the right way, it would have been worth more. But with a dead heat, you can also go the wrong way, and then it wouldn't have been as good. So I guess you 6 of one, half dozen of the other. But he was right there, and it was a nice payoff as it was. Would have been a lot nicer had he gotten the bob.
Well, and I think, we've talked about this before. Even if you're not chosen on the online bankrolls or here at the Clubhouse Racebook, just always, take a look at what the handicapper's giving out as far as information, what his selections are, what his bets are, and pick and choose on how you want to play it, because obviously we're playing off a bankroll, so we're developing the tickets a little different with money, but take the A's or the B's, if they're doing multiples, and play them the way you want to play them.
Yeah, and it's always a lot of fun. There was a nice crowd here on Friday, buffet as well with the happy hour. We have, the next happy hour is day after
Thanksgiving on Black Friday,
yeah,
and that will be with Mr. Marmino. Anthony Marmino will be in the house, and once again that'll be our traditional $500 happy hour bankroll, and that'll be 2 to 6, and with 20 to 25 patrons being chosen. That's always a nice day, because the day after Thanksgiving everybody's looking for something special to do. So come on down to Clubhouse Racebook. You got plenty of time to do your shopping, so enjoy Black Friday here at the Clubhouse.
Yeah, it should be fun. Mark that on your calendar next week. The end of the week on Friday, the next happy hour bankroll. But there is, in fact, today, another handicapping contest available. Our friend Brian Edo back up for an online challenge.
And you got till 12 noon to enter today. We'll pull the account holders, and then we'll list those this afternoon. Yep, he's doing $100 on the early pick 4 at Aqueduct and $100 on the late pick 4 at Aqueduct. And just remember, if you're one of the 20 patrons chosen, you must wager on your account in order to get an equal share of any winnings.
Also, we should remind people that every New York racing day, if you go to capitalotb.com, you can find Brian's pick 4 plays. And also there's a grid, a matrix. There's some suggested double plays and exacta plays and whatnot, but he lays out some pick 4 plays every day with A, B, and C type of tickets. So there's usually a cheaper ticket and maybe one that's a little more expensive. But again, it just gives you some ideas as well. You can follow him exactly, or you can say, oh, look who he's put in the A's, or look who he thinks is a live play at maybe a little bit of a price, and fold it into your handicap.
And everything on there is the 50-cent value. So just take that into consideration. And like you said, all the A's and B's are laid out there for you. And we'll have his bets posted this afternoon as well with the bankroll team that we chose.
CapitalOTB.com. Also on the website, there is Friday, a $100 online knockout challenge.
It's a knockout challenge. We're splitting it between Aqueduct and Churchill, so you got 3 races from each track. And just remember, once again, you must wager on your account if you're going to be one of the winners. You got to make it through all 6 races. You got to survive all the way through. The horse got to hit the board in all 6 races. And if you do, and you got the most show money, the winner gets $75 deposit. Runner-up $25 deposit.
Nice, always a lot of fun. So keep that in mind for Friday online, capitalotb.com. Coming up on Saturday, it's a double promotion day.
It's our Capital OTB Daily Double here at the Clubhouse Racebook. This is a little different, and we've done this contest out in some other branch locations, but we haven't done it here at the Clubhouse. So we're debuting it here at the Clubhouse, and that's the Win-A-Bet. and it's a little different. We're doing 3 races Aqueduct, 3 races Churchill, and if your horse wins, it's all about winning. We take that price and then we times it by what number race it is. There is a cap, so you don't have to worry about a bomb, tearing up the contest all the way through. But it's a little different. It's intriguing. People really like it, but your horse has to win. It's all about winning. And then we're doing this new promo that we've developed. It's called Match Bet. Losing tickets throughout the afternoon. Any losing ticket from 10 cents all the way up to $25. $25 is the max it will cover. So if whatever random ticket that we choose, and say it's a value of $12, in the next upcoming race, you'll get a bet into that race value of $12. So whatever that ticket that we pull will equivalent what the value of that ticket is.
So
Up to 25.
so if
25 is the max.
If they've only spent a dime, you cover the dime?
We'll cover the dime, but I mean...
Up it from the dime, then.
I mean, everyone should upgrade what they're playing on the tickets. So just keep that in mind. If it's $20 value, we'll match that to $20. You can choose how you want to bet that amount of money, but you just got to bet into the next upcoming race.
Very good. Sounds like a lot of fun. And again, that's here at the Clubhouse Racebook this coming Saturday. Sunday's always a lot of fun, and I typically, after the show on Sunday, I'll walk out during the lunchtime period. There's typically a good crowd in here on Sundays, as there has been since the beginning of the football season, because all the games on the screens, as well as all the racing during the NFL season.
Well, now we're in the meat and potatoes of the season, because now there's more on the line. Now we're going into week 10. I believe it's week 10. And, you're getting key matchups now, divisional matchups, and the first 100 patrons come in, you get your name on the square grid that we have. And if you match the score of the 1 o'clock game that we choose, halftime you get a $20 food and beverage voucher. And if you match the score for the final, you get a choice of one of the NFL jerseys that we have hanging in the hallway. It's always a very good time. There's food and drink specials throughout the afternoon, and it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, you mentioned the food and drink specials. We don't mention Legends enough. If you come down here any day, much less Sundays, you can go to Legends and get lunch a lot of times. Probably once a week I go over and get the hot turkey sandwich.
Sure, they have an assortment of specials every day, especially soups and sandwiches, hot dogs, pizza, things like that, and it's always good. And like you said, we put out buffets during the happy hour bank rolls, and then you got food and drink specials during the football. So, it's full entertainment right here. We got a sports center area with all the TVs. We'll have 6 games all in that area, all at the same time. So enjoy the activities and stop down here at the Clubhouse Racebook.
Yeah, there's Legends is right here in the building, and their bar extends right into the Racebook as well. A lot of people sit at the bar and enjoy the bar during the afternoon. Nice atmosphere down here. As I say, every day you can come down and take advantage of that. Also want to remind people once again, we're in November and the Bet 50, Get 50 promotion continues.
It's a standard monthly promotion that we do. Once you bet the 50, you're going to get 50 on the next business day. Just remember, you have to bet that $50 before the end of the month, and take advantage of all the perks and privileges that you have online. With having a Capital Bets account, you automatically get signed up for player rewards. Once you meet the threshold, that money that you accumulated on the points goes right into your account. And also you get access to the free past performances and the live streaming with your laptop once you log in with your user and password. So just take advantage of everything that we offer, bankrolls online, contests online, and all those things. You have to be a Capital Bets account holder. So once you bet to 50, you're going to get to 50.
Always a great promotion, free money. And speaking of great promotions, had Roddy Valenti in here on Sunday morning with me, and he announced that once again he and his family, in conjunction with Capital TV, sponsoring holiday turkey giveaway. It's a great promotion, and we thank Roddy and his family for doing it. He said he was going to reach out to some of his friends and try to up the number of turkeys they're going to give away this year, but certainly the last couple of times he's been here, kind of an overflow crowd lines up first thing in the morning, and it should be another great event. And as I say, it's that time of year. We appreciate Roddy stepping in and doing this.
I just spoke to his office this morning. It looks like he is up in that. It looks like we're going to have about 1,000 turkeys for a giveaway. So at least 800, but I know he's targeted 1,000. So this is tremendous that he's done, and we appreciate everything that Roddy does on this. This is going to be our 3rd annual. We set up shop right out here in the parking lot. It's easy coming all the way through, and it's just always very special to help the families out there in need.
Yeah, and again, that's going to be coming up November 23rd right out here. We will continue alerting you the turkey giveaway right here at the Clubhouse Racebook, sponsored by Roddy Valente and family. And speaking of great charities, again, here at the Clubhouse Racebook, we are a drop-off point for Toys for Tots, another good holiday charity.
Another good holiday. We'll have the box here till December 12th. Just remember, it's got to be an unwrapped toy, and we appreciate anything you can donate on that. So stop by and drop off a toy. We appreciate it.
It's right up by the front desk, the drop-off point, and that goes through, again, December 12th. And just before we go, we mentioned Roddy Valente. I want to congratulate Roddy as he was in here on Sunday morning. We talked turkey for a long time, talking turkey, but then I shifted to horse racing, and Sunday afternoon he had a horse running pretty enough who had been with Jeremiah Englehart up at Finger Lakes after an earlier part of the career in New York. But Roddy said, sent the horse up to Finger Lakes, get a little confidence, and the horse had ripped off some nice wins in the barn of Maya Englehart up at Finger Lakes. So they thought, the confidence boost may be enough to get a win down in New York. And I guess Roddy was out in the parlor after he left, you said, and folks were happy. It's pretty enough got it done 3-1.
This place was raising the roof. Everybody was rocking and rolling after that, because obviously the majority of the house, they bet on his horse. And, looked like at the half-mile, Paul, it looked like he was in a little bit of a possible a bad trip, but Louis Saez had good patience and pulled her on the outside, and away she went home from there. So it was terrific, paid a good, generous price. Everybody was very happy the rest of the afternoon.
Yeah, and always fun to root for local connections, and Roddy easy to root for. And again, talked about the horse a little bit on the show, so hopefully we tipped some folks to pretty enough running on Sunday, and you picked up on the $8 mutual there. All right, Shannon, we'll wrap things up for this morning. We'll remind people they can go to the website always and catch up with promos and events.
All the details are right there online at capitalotb.com.
All right, Shannon, thanks. We'll talk again next week.
Thank you, sir.
All right, I'm going to head to a break right now. When we come back, again, Jeremy Plonk, HorsePlayerNow.com, Countdown to the Crown, Night School, and more. A little bit later on, Don Stevens from Delta Downs coming up on Saturday. It's the Delta Jackpot, the Delta Princess, the Delta Mile, and more. We'll preview that in a few. But right now, a break. After the break, Jeremy Plonk. Stay tuned.
Hey, race fans, head down to the all-new Clubhouse Racebook and get in the game. With live horse racing on more than 250 flat-screen TVs, state-of-the-art wagering terminals, fantastic food and drinks, an amazing Vegas-style atmosphere with seating for nearly 900 of your closest friends. Conveniently located at 711 Central Avenue, right off Exit 5 of I-90 in Albany, the Clubhouse Racebook is the better choice.
No matter where in the world you are, the excitement of wagering on horse racing is just a click away. CapitalOTB.com offers live streaming, past performances, race replays, our virtual tote board, analysis and selections from professional handicappers, and a simple, safe, and secure wagering platform. And best of all, you get track prices. Going on now, it's Bet 50, Get 50. Simply open a Capital Bets account, bet $50, and get $50 cash back. CapitalOTB.com. Log on today.
We had started it 2 years ago, and to me it's a privilege to be able to do this, and I mean that sincerely. And we see the need for it more and more. And when you do see the people that are in line for the turkeys, it makes it all well worth it.
In a recent study of some of the top online wagering sites, Capital OTB won big in total player rewards, far surpassing some of the best-known wagering sites in America. While other rewards programs simply offer you points redeemable for gift cards, Capital OTB's rebates are paid to you in actual cash. Plus, Capital OTB gives you full and immediate access to your money. So if all you're getting now are points and gift cards, join Capital OTB Player Rewards today and get cash back. Visit CapitalOTBBet.com and sign up today. Championship horse racing continues at Capital OTB. There's no better place to watch, wager, and win than OTB TV and CapitalOTBBet.com.
This is Racing Across America with Seth Merrow.
Welcome back to Racing Across America on this Wednesday morning. As promised before the break, from horseplayernow.com, Night School and more, Jeremy Plonk joins us. Good morning, Jeremy. Very good. Happy to have you on board to talk some horse racing. I said at the top of the show, a lot of times we'll talk 3-year-old races, obviously most of the time during the beginning of the year, but then sometimes we have to shift if things are a little light. And I said at the top of the show, things were light. Although a story came out that made there was some 3-year-old turf racing over the weekend, but there was one, the Discovery at Aqueduct, and Stick Stately Dude won. And that became a little bit interesting because there was a story in the racing forum subsequently overnight that they may be looking for one of those folks who put up their $1 million for the Pegasus and they're looking for a horse. So it'll be interesting to see, because I think Stick Stately Dude's still kind of lightly raced and maybe has some potential. I don't know whether I'd put up the $1 million to back him going into the starting gate, but if you don't have a horse and you're searching around, I suppose he's a possibility.
Yeah, he's getting good at the right time. He ran a really good race at Remington. He was my horse at Remington in the Oklahoma Derby when nosed out by Texas Chrome, and he ran a winning race that day under Joel Rosario, just came up a little short. I thought the Discovery was a pretty tough field, so the fact that he progressed from the race in Oklahoma to that one and ran as well as he did, he is definitely moving the right direction. He's with Kieran, now he's with Greg Birchall, who's more of a pin hooker and a horseman type and not a trainer of so many horses. Now he's in with a full-time trainer, and, he may move forward and progress pretty nicely.
Yeah, it'll be that whole concept. I'm rooting for it. It's going to be interesting to see how it shakes out over the next couple of months. No question about it. All right, as always on Wednesday mornings, we like to go back to Tuesday night before we talk the horse racing and just kind of recap what went on at Night School at horseplayernow.com. And if folks always want to catch up on the archives, that's available. Last night, a great subject. You did one of your biographies. One of my favorite people in the game, and I think I'm not alone, Steve Crist. We miss him on his recent retirement because he was a guy that with his articles in the Racing Forum could really take a clear look at the horse racing game and make some great points. And I would also add clear and concise, because one of the things, I've written a lot of things myself for the Equidaily webpage and whatnot, and I would look at his column and I think, man, he said so much there in such a condensed area. I could really appreciate that, but we just kind of miss his voice on a regular basis at this point. But last night you went through the Steve Crist background.
Yeah, it was great to talk with him, and just to underscore what you say about his style and his distinctness is, I always I'm a journalism graduate, and I had a professor who used to have a great line. He said, "Write it right and write it tight." Get it correct, and don't do too much with it, and write it right and write it tight, and that's exactly what you're talking about with the style of Steve Crist and what he was able to do and put words on the page and explain positions and take the advocacy of the horse player. We had a long discussion. It was about 70 minutes in conversation with Steve Crist. It was fun. He was actually at a casino in Atlantic City playing poker when we contacted him. So he stepped out of the casino, and we interviewed him from his room in the hotel there, I assume. He's still playing, he's still firing, but he's enjoying retirement. He's feeling better health-wise. Gave us an update on that, and it was really great talking with him. It was the longest sit-down, extended conversation I've had with him. I've known him over the years and in passing, and a cordial relationship, and we've had him on Night School in the past as a guest on some different segments for a few minutes here and there. But the first time that we really got to just, sit down and pick through everything and discuss his entire career, and it was a lot of fun. The fans loved it. They got a lot out of it, and I think that, it was one of those things that we did in season 6 that I wish we would have done in season 1 or 2, and, it's all about timing in life, and we could learn a lot from a guy like that, and what he's gone through and what he's done in the racing industry. Because you got to remember, he not only worked on the journalist side of things and as an entrepreneur with the Racing Forum and the Racing Times, but also then on the management side of NYRA. He's vice president of NYRA for 3 or 4 years in the 1990s, and so he's got a perspective on a lot of different sides of the fence.
Yeah, and I was lucky enough to kind of get to know him a little bit in the years he'd be sitting down at his seat in the press box up at Saratoga. Missed him the last couple of seasons, certainly. But as a fan, I've also appreciated, as I say, what he wrote about the game. He was very insightful. And as you were talking, I was about to add what you did. I don't know whether a lot of people, if they're new to the game, there are a lot of people who do know, but folks may not be familiar with the racing science and how innovative that was. And Chris was kind of behind that. And a lot of the information you see today, that when you compare what you find in the racing form or other PPs today, as going back 20 or 25 years ago, it's a whole different model today. A lot of racing times. As you say, he was also part of the Niagara team for a long time. I remember Hell Jump here and being in our offices back in the day and leading the racing form as well. So they got it. He's wrong on some institutional memory. He's always forward thinking. And it's like, this game, we're going to kind of miss his insight into the game on a day-to-day basis.
Oh, yeah. I could not agree with that more. And just a frank way of putting things, and understanding. He's a cerebral guy, a very intelligent guy, a numbers guy. Harvard graduate, a writer. Very cerebral, but able to speak on frank terms. And we joked about this in the interview last night. He's done so many important things in the racing industry, but one of the things he's going to be remembered most for is corn dogs at the fair in Saratoga County and his blog about Hattie's chicken sandwiches. It was like a lighthearted deal, and I was like, you weren't writing restaurant reviews about the Wishing Well and places like that. It was just kind of everyman food and how to enjoy yourself. And I said, I think that resonated with a lot of people, and he was kind of taken back by that and really, really appreciative of that. So I think he realized people got it. When I made that comment, he kind of went, all right, that's what I was going for, and I'm glad somebody got it that way.
Yeah, that's funny you bring that. As soon as you brought that up, I laughed. I saw him walk into the press box with one of those Hattie's fried chicken sandwiches on a few occasions, and you're exactly right. And that is something we'll also miss. Those commentaries were really important. But boy, we haven't had it the past couple of seasons, but he used to do that daily Saratoga blog, which was great. Gave you some insights into betting during the day, and gave you insights into how the game played out in particular races. And I'm going to miss that as well.
Yeah, and that's the great thing, is to be able to marry the seriousness with the personal. We all want some kind of laboratory experiment of handicapping. When we do night schools that are loosey-goosey, I can tell our numbers aren't as strong as they are when they have a serious topic to them. Everybody wants to learn the game. Everybody wants to study, but you have to do it in a manner that's just not so academic and studious. So you got to be able to, don't take yourself too seriously, and be able to kind of talk at the level of everyone. And for a Harvard guy to be able to just bring it to that level, that just shows what a great communicator he is. And, that's what we try to do with Night Schools. We try to make it fun, but at the same time, there's a serious tone to it, because, look, some people are taking this awfully serious. It's not just recreation. And, there's real money behind it. It's not just, flipping quarters away and seeing what happens in a slot machine. There are people who are actually trying to put real strategy and nuts and bolts behind it. And hopefully we can accomplish that. And things that we're doing now online are different than what the folks back in the publishing era did. There was an era when there was a lot more books written about horse racing. You say, well, maybe horse racing was more popular, but I think the mediums have changed. That there's really not the need so much to write a 500-page handicapping book anymore at the Ainsley's Guide or one of those books from back in the day. I mean, Chris even said it himself. I said, tell me about Ticketmaker and how Ticketmaker, that's the program from Daily Racing Form that will help you build your tickets, and give you the most efficient way to spend your money. I said, how did Ticketmaker come about? He said, well, basically they took my book, Exotic Betting, and turned it into a computer program. And that's the difference of then and now. Whereas in the past, somebody may have read a 300-page book to learn a strategy and attack and all that sort of thing. The technology era has moved a lot of that forward, but we still have the same desires. We want to make better tickets.
As they say, there's an app for that.
Yeah, exactly. There's an app for everything, and that's what we try to do. I mean, I like to think Night School is a 240-some page chapter book. Coming up here, we have 236 episodes done of Night School now, and they're just different chapters. If you want to go back and check them all out, and the multimedia that goes with it. 4 more lessons left in 2016 before we wrap up the 6th year.
And again, we'll miss Steve Christ on a regular basis, but certainly he'll pop up as he did last night at Night School, and you can check that out on the archive. All right, Jeremy, let's jump into some of the action. And again, I thought we'd kind of shift gears a little bit this week and just focus on some of the 2-year-olds who maybe are floating a little bit under the radar as we reach the end of the year and get, a month and a half away from your first countdown to the Crown package. I said at the top of the show, obviously Classic Empire, not this time, coming out of the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. the Champagne runners, Practical Joke and Cinder Guard. There are horses on the 2-year-old side who have jumped out at us a little bit, but I wanted to focus maybe on some horses that are less familiar to people. Wanted to start and this is one of those races that may have plate implications, Queen's Plate implications a little bit later on. Coronation Futurity Sunday at Woodbine, $250,000, a mile and an eighth. I had Keith McCalmont on Sunday, and we kind of looked at this race. I thought State of Honor was interesting, breaking through and getting the maiden victory in the 5th career start and doing it pretty nicely. But as we watch the replay here, it's the other Cassie horse, and hats off to Keith McCalmont, who liked King in His Court. King in His Court gets it done as the 5-2 favorite, but State of Honor runs second, so it's a Cassie exact in here. What are your thoughts on these two and going forward potentially to the Queen's Plate next year?
These are horses that are foaled in Canada, so it was a restricted race in the Coronation Futurity, but keep in mind, King in His Court had run well in open company, in the Colin and the Grade 3 Gray. This horse was stakes placed in open company, so Mark Cassie will have some options to be able to run this horse over the winter competitively, probably down in Florida. You know, he likes to run a lot of horses at Tampa. You might see a horse like this towards the Spiral, one of the few synthetic preps left on the road towards the Triple Crown. So King in His Court's got a bit of a future. There's not a lot of pedigree here. He's by Court Vision out of Penny Whistle, and there's not a lot there, honestly, pedigree-wise. But this was a solid race on the clock. You look, they threw 24s up every fraction. The final 3 furlongs for the winner, 36-3 on the back end of a mile and an eighth for a 2-year-old. This horse really came home nicely. Typically, these mile and an eighth races for 2-year-olds, I say this every year, and nothing really changes on that, is they're usually carousels because none of them want to go a mile and an eighth this early in their career. So whoever makes the lead is just the fastest, most talented horse and goes wire to wire. State of Honor had that trip the entire way and got run down late, and King in His Court drew off and won this race convincingly. Again, 36-3 the last 3 furlongs. You would take that for an older horse going a mile and an eighth. That was a really good split. So maybe there's something there with King in His Court. Again, there's not a lot of pedigree. This is not a regally bred horse, but he can finish, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, and I'm just looking now, pulled up on Twitter, came up with a 76 buyer for that. So, a little bit light, but as you say, it's a restricted race. They're still 2-year-olds. We'll see what happens going forward. But it was a nice performance by the two Cassie horses on the weekend anyway, and they combined for, what do we have? Nice little $40 Cassie exacta there. All right.
Yeah, he's dominated the 2-year-olds, North America, or, north of the border, south of the border. He's been unbelievable this year with this 2-year-old.
All right, let's move on to a race that's dear to my heart because I was doing happy hour bankroll promotion out in Whitesboro a couple of weeks ago, and I needed this race to keep my pride going because I was having a rough afternoon until this. But it was a maiden special down at Belmont going back to October 29th, and I had been on the Handicappers Report here on the network earlier that morning, and I mentioned Tackaful. First-time starter from Kieran by Bernardini, and I thought with Bernardini on top, Kieran pretty good first time out. I thought this was a horse that was live at 8-1 on the morning line. Eventually went off at 12-1. I was kind of surprised the betting public was tilting more towards, of the Kieran horses, Adonis Creed, because I thought the breeding was maybe a little bit better on Tackaful. And we'll watch number 3 Tackaful now come down the stretch. Win by a chart margin of 8. The favorite, Big Handsome, the 9-5 favorite, winds up running third in here. But Tackaful got out there in 21 and change, 44 and change, 109, 115. I mean, he went fast early, went fast late, and a lot of people after the race thought this was one of the better 2-year-old performances we've seen this year. What are your thoughts on Tackaful?
Well, he was really good in this performance, like you said. Fast early and a fast final time, 1:15.82 for 6.5 furlongs. Blistering. Freeze frame this one, pause it on your DVR, take a snapshot of it, post it on Twitter, whatever. Can we please get off the fact that first-time starters that aren't bet are dead on the board? Nobody knows nothing. That's the statement. I mean, 12-1 on Kieran McLaughlin, and we see this over and over again. But every time a horse at 2-1 wins as a first-time starter, people just go up in arms and think that the backstretch knows everything, and that the handicapper who's not there has no chance at all of betting a maiden race. It's a ridiculous statement. I can statistically look at it. At the track that I look at, the average first-time starter pays more than the average winner does. So these first-time starters that win at low prices are more the exception than the rule, but people just stick it in their head that there's inside information everywhere, and it's abounding, and you're up against it if you're trying to bet into it. Congratulations to you, because you picked a good-looking first-time starter and got 12-1 on Kieran McLaughlin and Jose Ortiz. For crying out loud, why this horse was 12-1, I have no idea. The backstretch buzz must have been that he couldn't run. Obviously, they were wrong. So this horse draws off, wins in a fast time. There was a lot of traffic trouble at the beginning. You just look at the chart in this race: bump, start, bump, broke in, bump, start, bump below, bump between it, start, broke out, bump at the start. There's 5-6 horses in this 9-horse field that had trouble at the start. Well, when they all get tangled up, the horse who scoots to the lead obviously avoids all that. And so Takaful may have been, the margin probably was a beneficiary of the trips of some of the other horses, was the only one who got a clean trip. And then also this horse had the talent to just lay it out there. I mean, 115.82 for 6.5 furlong for a 2-year-old is booking, and so there is to take nothing away. The first foal for Sabla, who was an unraced dam, this isn't one of those super Shadwell, Godolphin pedigrees on the dam side where you can look and just say, hey, this is a half to, everybody on the planet who is outstanding. But it is a colt by Bernardini, and, we'll see how fast this horse will go. Probably wants to harness the speed a little bit to go around a ground. Out of a distorted humor mare who was unraced, I don't know about the distance for this one, especially going that fast early, 44-4 for the opening half. You want to harness the speed a little bit to see if this one can get some distance, but an exciting prospect right now for Kieran.
Yeah, and a lot of times they do go out and they're explosive in the debut, and then they'll work with them in the morning, looking to maybe stretch them out as the career goes along. But you make a great point. I will reiterate, and I've said it a number of times. I love the 2-year-old races. I like looking up the breeding, because then you have stuff that's not necessarily on the page, and you can get a price. And it always amazes me, because there is that mindset up at Saratoga. Oh, no, he's dead on the board. And I think, man, you're at Saratoga with the pools the size they are. How much does it take to move the pool A? And you can have a horse that you think is a monster in the morning, but you don't know how many other monsters might be in a 2-year-old race up at Saratoga. So how excited do you get, and how much money do you put into the pool? So I'm completely with you. If I like a 2-year-old,
on the board. Okay, so horses at 13-1 don't win that often. They don't need to, and that's the whole point of it. I would say, Seth, if I had to put a percentage on it, 80% of the people think dead on the board is a bad thing, and 20% of the people are happy they're getting more of a price. It's a lemming mentality. People tend to pile on the favorites, and people tend not to trust their own intuition when it comes to handicapping. They tend to follow the crowd. I mean, maybe that's just society, but it's certainly that way in pari-mutuel betting. You see a horse open up at 8-5, and you're not sure they should be 8-5. They rarely end up 4-1, right? They usually stay somewhere down around favorite status, because people will just say, you know what, this horse must be live, and everyone starts using them for the most part. But I would say 80 to 85% of the people think dead on the board is a bad thing. I'm in the minority with you, and the good thing about being in the minority is you get $27 when you're right.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Let's shift our attention now. East Coast Takaful could be a little bit interesting. I wanted to go out to the West Coast, too, see what we could find out there, and I think Bob Baffert might have one that ran just, a little over a week ago, I guess 10 days ago. We're going to go back to November 6th. Nice full field of maiden specials out in Southern California, Santa Anita, and the winner will be number 11, Beach Bomb. The debut distance is 7 furlongs. That's always tough. Stuck out in the number 11 post position. They paid over $400. They paid $400 exactly for this horse. Keeneland September last year. First-time starter Bob Baffert, Gary and Mary West. The favorite in here at 3-1. Eleutheros, I'm assuming, is the number 2 horse. Winds up a disappointing 9th in the field of 12. But boy, we're looking at a chart margin here of 4 1/4. This is a pretty good-looking debut from Beach Bomb.
It was, and this is the exciting kind of horse that when Bob Baffert gets a horse with a pedigree like this, it's rare. And so I'm kind of curious to see what happens, because the damn side of this pedigree is pure New York, folks. This is all Phipps blood. The female family here is the same female family of Point of Entry, Pleasant Home, Pine Island, Sky Beauty. There's just Phipps pedigree all over of this horse, who is sired by Arch. So Beach Bum is a rarity for Bob Baffert. Bob Baffert teaming with Phipps blood, you just don't see that often. So, if you take that if you take that bloodline and that gene pool and then put it with Bob's unbelievable program of speed and brilliance and working them hard in the morning, it's kind of the anti-Shug, you know? So what does Baffert do with a horse that, you know, this should be one of Shug's horses, honestly, and so they're going to develop completely different, you know, and so it's really curious. This horse is going to be a neat experiment, if you will, to see what happens when generations collide, if you will. You know, the Bob Baffert era of training with 30 years of Phipps pedigree under this horse. It'll be curious to see. Now, this race did fall apart. To just analyze this race of the day after Breeders' Cup Sunday, the speed completely collapsed. They came home in 38-2 the last 3 furlongs of a 7-furlong race. We just talked about the 9 furlong horses coming home in 36 and change. So this race came home 12 lengths slower about than we saw in a 9 furlong race on the Tapeta at Woodbine. So they did crawl home, but the winner drew off one impressively. And again, this is the kind of pedigree that this horse will get a 1.1 miles and a 1.25 miles down the line. Maybe it was more of an aberration that this horse wins going 7 furlongs, really built to go 9, 10 furlongs. So that can be a good sign for Beach Bum, and that may explain why he wasn't brilliant to run a particularly fast time. But this horse is neat. This is the kind of neat thing that doesn't come along that often when you get such a diversion, a regional mishmash. You've got a pure East Coast horse in pedigree with a West Coast trainer and the best trainer in the game.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see where he goes next. Tacklefull, I read Remsen is possible. Interesting to see where Beach Bum goes. All right, let's go back. You know, when you're in and around the Breeders' Cup, all the focus is there, and obviously there was a super strong juvenile field, and it played out nicely with Classic Empire, and not this time. But just about a week before, there was a little 2-year-old stake at Churchill Downs that may have some potential going forward. We're going back to October 30th. This is the Street Sense, the 1-turn mile, and McCracken for Ian Wilkes was coming off a career debut win earlier in October at 6.5 furlongs, stretched out to this mile and did it pretty nicely. Speedmeister, the number 5 horse, was a 2-5 favorite in here, disappointed, running 5th in the field of 9 in the second career start. I'll be interested to see whether that was an aberration from Speedmeister, because his career debut was very good, but pretty good looking performance from McCracken.
Definitely, and when Ian Wilkes wins with a first-time starter, we have news, right? I mean, he's like a 3 or 4% trainer with first-time starters. And this horse was bet to 5-2 in the debut, so there was some buzz about McCracken in the debut. He's now 2 for 2 at Churchill Downs. He rallied from next to last to win this race. You know, it was a race where Speedmeister again was hammered to 2-5, so everybody's odds were inflated. This really wasn't an 8-1 kind of shot. He was the third choice in the betting. So McCracken was, you know, he was respected in this race, but everybody's odds were blown up because of the 2-5 favorite. This is a homebred by Ghost Affer for the Whitman family, and they ran the dam with Ian Wilkes. The dam, though, was a graded stakes place sprinter. Was beaten only 3 3/4 lengths. Dubai Mystery and Informed Decision and some really good ones in Kentucky. Ran second in the Grade 3 Endyne. So the dam Ivory Empress was all sprint. We will see. This was a 1-turn mile, as you mentioned. How will McCracken stretch out around 2 turns? That'll be the big question. But one thing about this race, they ran the 4th quarter faster than the 3rd quarter. That doesn't happen very often. So even in a 1-turn mile, this was an impressive finish here for McCracken in this race, and drew off on the back end. Ian's got one to watch, and you would have to think the Tampa route maybe, because you know he doesn't train for brilliant speed a lot, and he likes to run his horses either at Gulfstream or Tampa. This horse may not fit at Gulfstream on a fast track. He may fit there at Tampa on something that's a little slower.
And as I say, I'm going to be interested to see what's up next for Speedmeister and if they can get that, because the debut was just too good to buy into the dud in that race. All right, we have just a few minutes left, Jeremy, and in a couple of minutes I got Don Stevens coming on from Delta Downs. We'll talk a little jackpot card, but I wanted your thoughts too, since the PPs are out. Delta Jackpot coming up on Saturday at Delta Downs. $1 million up for grabs in the Grade 3 at 1 1/16. And I will mention the horse we just saw finish second to McCracken, Ballandine, is in here. Pat on the back comes in for Kenny McPeak, is a nice New York bred, having won a New York bred stake most recently at Belmont. Line Judge, maybe the local contender, having won the John Lafitte that leads into this. But while we talk, Jeremy, going to show a race from Santa Anita going back to October 27th. Number 2, Hot Sean wins as the 1-2 favorite. This one's interesting because, again, we're watching Santa Anita and we're watching a Bob Baffert runner, and when he ships around for these stakes races, you have to pay attention.
You do, and the West Coast horses have had good success in the Delta Jackpot over the years, and 5 times the winner has come from a California base to win the Delta Downs Jackpot. So that's good news there. You also get Martin Pedrosa coming to ride, and you say, well, Baffert's not bringing his A rider. Remember this: Delta Downs is a bull ring. When they used to have bull ring racing in Southern California, where was it? Fairplex. Martin Pedrosa would win the leading jockey title at Fairplex 50 years in a row, and he'd win it by 20 in the standings, riding like at 30-some%. I mean, the guy was unbelievable. He's the best bull ring rider on the West Coast, bar none. So it's actually a really heady jockey assignment by Baffert here, and it should not be looked at as any kind of negative, like, wow, there's $1 million race, and he's not sending Garcia or Bejarano or Mike Smith to ride. Don't look into that as a negative. He's got the king of the bull rings riding, so Hot Sean's probably in with a chance, and this is one of the few races Baffert's never won. The Delta Downs Jackpot has eluded him to this point. But again, the West Coast horses have had some success. I like Mark Cassie's horse Thirst for Life. I also like J Boy's Echo. I think both are going to be nice prices. Both impressed me at Keeneland. And, I always tell people, bet what you know, and I follow Keeneland very closely. I like both of those horses' wins. So I'm going to give those 2 long shot looks in the Delta Downs Jackpot.
Sounds good. Appreciate the thoughts there, and we appreciate the visit as always, Jeremy. As you say, night school wrapping up, and I'm just pulling up the schedule here. You got coming up next week. Oh, next week, track announcers. I like it.
Yeah, and you got Don Stevens coming up next, track announcer. Throw him a curveball for me, Seth. Ask him how many points per game he scored when he was a member of the Running Emus.
Okay, all right, will do.
Don and I were on the same rec league basketball team when he was the chart caller at Remington and I was the TV host. We were in a rec basketball league together. He had a nice little turnaround jump shot, kind of Artis Gilmore-like, if you want to know. Don was okay in the post, but he had no hop.
Very good. I can, as somebody who still goes out and huffs and puffs down the court on a weekly basis, I can appreciate that. So I'll definitely toss that out there. Jeremy, as always, appreciate the visit. We'll talk again next week.
Okay, have fun. Take care.
Jeremy Plante, CoursePlayerNow.com, Countdown to the Crown, Night School, and more. Coming up, Rec League basketball player and Delta Downs track announcer Don Stevens right after this. Stay tuned.
This is Racing Across America with Seth Merrow.
Championship horse racing continues at Capital OTB. There's no better place to watch, wager, and win than OTB TV and CapitalOTBBet.com.
Come on!
I want sales reports on my desk by Monday.
Whoops. My bad.
Love racing? RTN brings you every live simulcast on your home television, plus live video streaming and race replays on your PC and mobile devices. To order, visit RTN.tv. RTN, a breed apart.
I got it. Watch me. I got it. Hey! I got something that makes me want to shout. I got something that tells me what it's all about. I got a move that tells me what to do. If you don't, brothers and sisters, then you won't know what it's all about.
Welcome back to Racing Across America. As promised before the break, joined now by Don Stevens from Delta Downs. Good morning, Don.
Good morning. How are you today?
Very good. And Don, I have to toss this out there because my previous guest was Jeremy Plonk. And when I said to Jeremy at the end of the segment, we're going to be joined by Don next, he says, ask Don if he can give his average point total for the running emus.
I know Jeremy well. We worked together in 1996 at Remington Park, 96 and 97. We played a little recreational basketball team together, and we charted horses together and worked in the media department. I go way back with Jeremy. He's a good guy.
He said you had a nice little hook shot.
Oh, yeah, I tried. I'm about 6'4", so I had some moves in high school. I couldn't do it today at age 52, but it's nice to reflect on the old days.
Get out there. I have a few years on you, and I still play a couple times a week.
There you go. It's good exercise.
Absolutely. I can't match up with the 20-year-olds anymore, but hopefully there's another guy somewhere in my age bracket that I can match up with. If both of us happen to get on the same pickup team, that's a problem.
Oh, that's right. We'll knock them dead, that's for sure.
All right, Don, let's get into the weekend card. Delta Downs Jackpot on Saturday, Delta Princess, Delta Mile, some other great stakes races. You and I talked during the break. Looks like the weather's going to be fabulous.
Yeah, right now it's sunny. It's very pleasant. Temperatures in the 60s right now, going to be high in the 70s. Saturday expecting dry conditions, temperature high 60s, low 70s. It looks like a perfect day for racing. Last year, of course, we had rain and an off track for the Jackpot day, and that put a little damper on things, but this year it just looks like marvelous weather.
All right, let's get into the Delta Jackpot. Nice field in here. We talked a little bit with Jeremy because we had shown the street sense because we were talking about McCracken. Ballendine finished second in that Churchill Downs stake at the end of October. Also, I got an opinion from Jeremy on this race, so I showed the replay of Hot Sean. Bob Baffert brings that one in from the West Coast. I think you have to pay attention there. Pat on the back comes down from New York for Kenny McPeak. Our Storm and Norman broke the maiden last time at Keeneland for Mark Casse. But Don, while we talk, a lot of times these races, they're local contenders. They can at least get up in the mix and be very contentious. And we'll go back to the John Lafitte. The prep for the Delta Downs Jackpot held on October 22nd. The winner will be number 7, Line Judge. Running second will be number 1, Tip Tap Tapazar for Steve Asmussen. They're both in on Saturday. Give us some thoughts on the Delta Jackpot.
Well, Line Judge, he was impressive in the Jean Lafitte. Over the years, that race hasn't produced a lot of jackpot winners, but this horse is really improving with every start. If you look at his speed figures, he's won 3 races that weren't even close. He did better going long in his first route attempt in the Jean Lafitte. I think he kind of demoralized Tip Tap Tapazar in the lane because that horse was making a move around the turn, and then he couldn't get more than 2 or 3 lengths of Line Judge, and he just kind of drifted out and finished second in there. So he's a player. He gets a good local rider that the nation may not know in C.J. McMahon. He actually got a ride in the Breeders' Cup, a couple of weeks ago with Texas Chrome. He didn't win it, but it had to be a thrill for him there. He's the son of a longtime quarter horse jockey from this part of the country, and he's really talented. I think you're going to hear a lot about this guy in the future. He's ridden here the last couple of years in the winter, and he's just a natural rider, looks great on a horse, and has great instincts. So don't dismiss the jockey at all on Line Judge, but I think he may be second tier in here just because he's going to have to, I think, even improve on his Jean Lafitte. Pat on the back to me has been impressive visually. He came in the other day, and I'm back in the barns, and I've been watching the horses out on the track, and this is a big strapping chestnut, and he just looks really good. I know he's winning restricted state bred stakes up in New York. He's a New York bred, but he's taken to the track well. He gets the inside post, and last time out he showed pretty good speed down there and fought off everybody to win, by open lengths. He's won 3 of his last 4, handled a sloppy track last time, and Robbie Alvarado knows this track well, will get the ride there, so I do like that. Mark Casse's horses have not come to town yet. You mentioned Our Storm and Norman adding blinkers last time. Keeneland just really woke up and ran a bang-up race by 2 1/4, getting back to the dirt after racing on turf for 3 races. Dangerfield for O'Neill looks very good. I saw him get off the truck yesterday as the Baffert and O'Neill horses arrived in town. They took a flight to Houston and then vanned about 2 hours over here to Vinton, Louisiana. The horse won a stakes race last time out at Pleasanton, first route race, and he just drew clear. We'll have to see how impressive that race is and who he beat. Gunnevera, extremely extremely impressive to me. He's been on the grounds longer than any horse here this week. He arrived last Saturday, and he's coming out of a Grade 1, of course, won by Classic Empire, won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, was his route debut. He finished 5th at Keeneland, but he's taking a path much like Exaggerator last year. He won the Saratoga Special, as did Exaggerator. Then he ran, this horse ran 5th in the Breeders' Futurity Grade 1, but Exaggerator ran 4th in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile there at Keeneland on the same track last year. So he's taking much the similar pattern up to the race for trainer Antonio Sano, and I've talked to his assistant here, Larry Kelly, and this horse is just thriving here. Because he's going to be here a week before the race, I think that's a big point to note. And then Ballandine, I talked to his assistant, not Luis Quinones, that's his dad, but Nate Quinones, who's here for Chris Hartman, and that horse just arrived Monday night, and he's looking real good. Hot Sean, that's kind of the buzz horse on the backside right now for Bob Baffert, $550,000 yearling purchase. He'll be making his stakes debut here, but he looks like, he's maybe $550,000 purchase, but he looks like $1 million. Everybody's talking about this horse. And J-Boy's Echo for Dale Roma to talk to Tammy Fox. She's here with the horse. He's doing very well. He came off the track today and she said it couldn't have gone better. And Tip Tap Tapazar, as we mentioned, he ran 2nd in the Jean Lafitte. He'll need to pick it up, but he gets Gerard Melanson, who's won this race twice. And by the way, I just let you know, Kent DeSormo is going to ride J-Boy's Echo, although Corey Landry was originally named. Kent DeSormo's coming to town. And, of course, he won this race last year from the same post position 9 with Exaggerator, and now he gets the same spot with J-Boy's Echo.
Yeah, and that's a great point about Guinevere. Of course, we're up in the Saratoga area, so we remember that one, a little upset 9-1 in the Saratoga Special, but that was a great comparison to Exaggerator. I'll also toss out there and get your thoughts, because when we talked about this race briefly with Jeremy Plonk, he mentioned Baffert has Pedroza on Hot Sean, and Pedroza used to be one of the leading riders when they had the bull ring out there in California,
Exactly.
So he seems to really appreciate that smaller circumference, so that could be a bonus for Hot Sean.
Yeah, I really think it could. And this horse looks very athletic, great muscle tone. I saw him get off the van yesterday, and he just took to the place like he owned it. He was a little headstrong until they gave him a bath, and he settled down. They walked him the shed row, looked fantastic. This morning, a local rider, Chris Rozier, was on that horse, and Baffert's one for the Princess Jilly, and I got his comments afterwards, and he said he looked tremendous. He just worked a $5,000 claimer early in the day, and he just had a big grin on his face because he's riding the class horses with these coming in for Baffert, and he was just busting loose, wishing he could ride him in the race.
Nice. All right, let's move on to the Delta Princess Grade 3 event, $400,000. The 2-year-old fillies going a mile, also on the card on Saturday. You mentioned Jillian for Bob Baffert. Caroline Test has a lot of early speed for Ben Colebrook. Flatter Up ran 2nd in the My Trusty Cat last time, the prep. Channel's Legacy comes in off a nice stakes win last time and only the 3rd career start. Doug O'Neill brings in a maiden breaker, broke the maiden in the debut at the end of October out at Santa Anita. Dude Fantasy comes up from Gulfstream off a couple of wins for Ralph Nix, and mentioning that my
Bill comes in for Batman. The 4th career here. She improved every time out. She broke her maiden last time. Question is, will she take to the small track? She's going to be making her route debut, and she's making her stakes debut. And she had to travel from California, so there's a lot to consider with her. Caroline Tess is going to get a lot of play. I'm sure she's got the speed. The track tends to favor speed. She comes out of a Grade 1, of course, at Keeneland, so she's going to get a lot of attention with Julian Leperoux. Forest Circle and Flatter Up in the middle. As I said, if they're going to beat this field, they've really got to pick it up because they ran 2nd and 3rd behind Golden Mischief. San Antonio Stroll, sent out by Danny Pish, a Texas horseman who's had a string here the last couple of years, making her dirt debut, so that's going to be a question mark. Chanel's Legacy for Lynn Kleberat. I know her from Remington Park many years, a very good horse person, and this one's won 2 and had a stakes win, as you mentioned, last time out. And the horse she beat 2nd there came back to win next time out, so that's worth noting. Doug O'Neill sends in Shane's Girlfriend, 1 out, Santa Anita, impressive winner in a maiden race. Had good pace numbers, led every step of the way. David Fox, who won the jackpot back in 2008 with Big Drama, sends in Cajun Delta Dawn. First start outside of Florida, but she's been tearing it up in the state bred races. And the horse I've really been impressed with here on the backside is Dude Fantasy. She's not a very big horse. She's won 2 in a row, and she beat Cajun Delta Dawn last time out, I believe it was, in Florida, and she looks like $1 million, and I'm really kind of high on her.
Yeah, again, a couple of nice fields in the Jackpot and the Princess. I think they'll both be fun races with some horses we'll be paying attention to next year. Also, the Delta Mile has $1 million earn-up Rise Up in there. There are some other great stakes on the card. Don, we wish you and everybody at Delta Downs a great weekend. We'll be paying attention, and we'll talk again in the future.
Thank you. Don't forget to play the Pick 4 that day. All stakes, 12% takeout, lowest in the nation, races 4 through 7.
Oh, I like it. Very good. Thanks for the reminder. Don, thanks again.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Don Stevens, Delta Downs. And again, the Delta Jackpot. Nice card coming up on Saturday. Keep that in mind. We'll remind you as we get closer to the weekend. Also, Jeremy Plank was on the show this morning talking some 2-year-old action. So hopefully we tipped you onto 1 or 2 you may want to watch going forward. Again, it'll be fun to see where Beach Bum goes next for Baffert. And Tacklefull, potentially, I read the team for this Wednesday. Coming up on Friday, there's a $100 online knockout challenge again at capitalotb.com. Saturday, double promotion day. You have the Win-A-Bet and the Match Bet contest here at the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue in Albany on Saturday. On Sunday here at the Racebook, NFL Sundays. Watch all the games, enjoy all the racing action every Sunday during the NFL season. Don't forget, Bet 50, Get 50 continues through the month of November. Also, we will continue to remind you right up until next week, November 23rd, the turkey giveaway, thanks to Roddy Valente and family in conjunction with Capital OTB, right out here at the Clubhouse Racebook. Next Wednesday, the 23rd, from 11 a.m. until supplies last, looking to maybe have 1,000 turkeys to give away out there. It's been a popular event for the past couple of years. Again, thanks to Roddy and family for jumping in, doing that in the holiday season. Speaking of the holiday season, until the 12th of December, we are a drop-off location for Toys for Tots. Bring an unwrapped toy to the front door. There's a drop-off box there. Love to have you participate. All right. Time for me to wrap up this edition of Racing Across America. We are here every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday from 10 until 11 a.m. Enjoy the races this afternoon. Let's all cash a few tickets. See you right back here tomorrow morning.
You're watching OTB TV, a service of Capital Off Track Betting.